Welcome everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend, and today we are going to have Captain Morgan as Khorne going up against Slaanesh in the Ogre Forests. Now, a very traditionally favoured matchup for Khorne, however Slaanesh really have been making some big changes as the game progresses. Now we are going to have a huge front line here, so I think 5 units in total of the Marauders of Slaanesh. You're going to have that bonus versus infantry as well, so you could do a little bit better there up against the Khorne Warriors. Marauder Spears in the back for the bonus versus large, they can do quite nicely up against those Fleshhounds, and then we're going to be having the double Demonettes, bringing the armor piercing to the battlefield, and some pretty good melee stats with devastating flanker. In the middle, we are going to have the Fiends of Slaanesh. Now, these bad boys do come with some nice abilities. They are going to have the Spophoric Musk, as well as that physical resistance as their demons, and then bucket loads of armor piercing. So they can be a ginormous nuisance if you get them cycle charging. The hero in the middle, we are going to have the Cultist of Slaanesh. She'll have the Gate of Slaanesh for the Demonette summon, and then the Lord Choice, which looks like we're going to be on foot with a Herald of Shadows. So we're going to be having the Arcane Conduit, the Soul Siphon, as well as the spells of Penumbral Pendulum, the Pit of Shades, the Portal Glyph, the Chaos Fury Summons, and then the Locus of Grace. Bit of an interesting one, of course, up against Khorne, not too bad, as they do bring a lot of human units. So pretty wide here on the force of Slaanesh, a unit of the Hellflies in the front, anti-infantry, armor piercing, as well as poison and magic damage. They are going to have the physical resistance and the soul sensibility, which is rather interesting in a 30-meter radius with all those melee buffs. So for the front of Khorne, 4 units of the Chaos Halberds. These bad boys very good anti-large armor piercing, charge reflection, and frenzy, making them rather powerful indeed, giving them immune to psychology, making them very good up against all those big, large, scary demons. Now for the Lord Choice, we are going to have Skarbrand the Exile, the man, the myth, the legend. Going to be here with Slaughter and Carnage, fueled by Rage and the triple abilities of the Rage Embodied, the Wrathful Reaper, and the Bellow of Endless Furies. A very, very strong toolkit indeed. In the middle pocket, we are going to have Uhtred of Bebbanburg, the man here going to be leading from the north. He is going to be having the Gate of Khorne for those Bloodletter summons. In the back, we are going to have the scary duo of the double Minosaurs of Khorne. Now, these big bad boys are going to be anti-large, armor piercing, and then with Blood Greed, giving them immune to psychology, making them extremely powerful against anything that is consumed as large. So Fleshhounds on the backhand side as well, just to give it a little bit of mobility here to this quite slow force. We do have a little bit with the Minotaurs of Khorne. They can move around the battlefield. 56 speed is not too bad, but you know, when you compare it there to Demonettes, they have 56 speed, or 54 should I say, just at base. So Hellflyers really nicely cycle charging. They pushed through and then came around the backside of the force of the Halberds. And with that devastating flanker, they didn't get many kills at all whatsoever. We can see there's 0 kills, unfortunately, only 30 damage value. And they're going to take quite a bit of damage. They've taken, you know, considerable there, at least 900 damage. It looks like actually the Minotaurs of Khorne and then also Skarbrand getting a couple of swipes through, doing some good work indeed. But the 4 models are going to keep moving. They're very, very good at disruption, but not very good at killing models. Skarbrand comes through. He's going to throw the ginormous axe here at one of the Hellflies. They're going to be looking pretty low here. Looks like we're going to be using the Rage Embodied, I think, trying to make sure we can rampage the Hellflies there. Rage Embodied is going to be trying to rampage these bad boys, but I believe they have to lose 25% HP before they can be rampaged. Now, for the main battle line, we are going to be charging forward. Get a bit of a skip on here. We do have Furies come around the sky as well. The nice thing here about these Slaanesh Furies is they are going to have armor piercing as a base stat, which is going to be really good up against a very heavily armored force. Coming forward, it's going to be the Slaanesh of Shadows. We can see quite a few units here lined up together. One of the Penumbral Pendulums down the line here will do some nice work up against these double Halberds. Getting away, the Hellflies going to be down to nearly half health already. And if we chase them off with the Fleshhounds will do some beautiful work. 22 armor piercing out of that weapon strength per model, making them very powerful indeed. So charging down the hill, they're going to be catching a lot of the Marauders of Slaanesh, kind of breaking up their charge animations, prevent them from getting that there on top of the Halberds. That charge deflection is going to be rather powerful. So in the middle, we are going to have the Marauders fighting here alongside the Chaos Halberds. And there we go, we're going to put them in place, and now we're going to be using a Penumbral Pendulum. We catch one, pretty decent damage, I must say so. And now we're going to be having a summon thanks to Uhtred of Bebbanburg. He's going to be summoning into the front line, and here we go. We are going to have the anti-infantry armor-piercing Bloodletters charging forward with those great weapons. They're going to be ready to challenge here up against the mighty force of Slaanesh. Now we are going to get some more Marauders coming down from top of the hill, including here the Demonettes. They should get around the back and hopefully try and see if they can clatter onto some of these forces. Pit of Shades in the back going to be just kind of sucking into this kind of black hole with the mass force of the Khorne halberds charging forward. It's going to be the summon of Demonettes really opening up a gate of Slaanesh here as they charge forward into the Khorne halberds. They're going to be fighting pretty nicely. The Khorne halberds do have some pretty good melee defense, so maybe they could hold off these Demonettes for enough time. In the middle, the Minotaurs of Khorne with the great weapons going to be fighting quite nicely in the pocket. We actually have a unit of the Seekers. So these bad boys do actually have the devastating flanker ability as well as some good magic damage. In the middle, Skarbrand, he's going to be at half health, not looking too good right now. 4,800 HP for him. Going to be fighting up against the hero choice. She's going to be at 2,900 here on foot. But she's used her summon. She might be doing a little bit of chip damage up against Skarbrand and maybe quite comfortably pay for herself. Halberds finish off the cavalry. And it looks like here we are going to get a summon of the quite bland Chaos Furies. So they're going to be pretty good here up against things that don't have too much armor. So maybe coming into the backside here against the Minotaurs might be a good option. Or if there's any flesh outs on the battlefield, maybe chasing those off. But it looks like they're going to dissipate. Unfortunately, not finding a good use here. So the Chaos Furies, they're going to be in the backside here up against the Halberds. And it's like they're going to be wavering. I believe they have lost their frenzy. So they could actually be terrorized here if you have any units with good terror. So the Fiends of Slaanesh sadly haven't done too much. They're going to get drawn down here by the Halberds. And then they're actually going to dissipate back. Unfortunately, not quite having the leadership to stay in the realms of the living. Now, the Demonettes, they're going to be fighting up against the Minotaurs of Khorne. The great weapons, sadly, not really going to have or be able to utilize their bonuses too much here in melee combat, but they just have great weapon strength up to 120. And, of course, most of that being purely armor piercing. That DPS is just going to shred through pretty much anything Slaanesh can send its way. In the middle, we are going to have the hero fighting up against Skarbrand still, the Wrathful Reaper, giving all those bonuses. He's going to be up to 1,300 weapon strength. Just take that into consideration. 2 hits, and there we go. We do shatter with the hero choice. Balance of power is going to be even, slightly in Khorne's favour. Halberds here going to be chewing through the Furies, but probably a good actual trade there for the Furies. They are going to count as infantry models with good armor piercing, so they should shred through the regular warriors of Khorne. In the backside, though, we are going to see the Minotaurs fighting quite nicely. Breath attack here down the line of the Marauders of Slaanesh. 1.5k on the weapon strength there for Skarbrand. As he, oh my god, a big hit on the Herald. She did not know what was about to come her way. Skarbrand just yeeted a big battle axe to the face there. And the Herald took it like an absolute champion. Now, we are going to get the Furies. They're going to come through. They don't have armor piercing. They're just going to be the base model. We do have a Pit of Shades in the back, though. They're going to be doing some good work on the Halberds. I really like the Penumbral Pendulum and the Pit of Shades. Very, very good way of dealing with heavily armoured infantry. In the pocket, Skarbrand here going to be fighting. Doesn't really want to get caught up by the Demonettes. They do have magic and armor-piercing damage. They will circumvent all his physical resistance and any armor he has coming forward. Now, we do see the faction effect of the Sword of Khorne slamming into the floor, doing a little bit of nice damage here up against the Marauders. Spear's now going to be charging up against Skarbrand. We do have the Cultist in the pocket. He's going to be on foot. He's going to be charging over here for his Lord and Saviour, Skarbrand. But looks like he's going to be getting dragged down here by just mass chaff. In the middle, we are going to have the Demonettes doing some good armor-piercing damage up against the Minotaurs of Khorne. The great weapons will thump back quite nicely, but the Locust of Grace is going to give that physical resistance. No magic damage here for the Khorne infantry. So sadly here, that physical resistance and melee defense is going to translate quite nicely. In the back, the Halberds are going to run away. We might see a return here. 13 leadership means we might see them on the battlefield yet again. But if we kill the Lord Choice here, Khorne even more taking the lead at this moment. If we can kill the Lord Choice, I think it's going to be over. We do see Spears in the back. They're going to be fighting up against the Cultist. Not doing too well there. 75 armor here for the Cultist should do pretty nicely in the pocket. The Lord Choice here of Shadows is going to be getting away. 1,200 here for the Slaanesh player. And it looks like here we are going to be finishing off the Demonettes. So in the pocket, it looks like we are going to be having a spell of the Pit of Shades. Not going to quite catch. Looks like we are going to catch one very unfortunate Minotaur of Khorne. He's going to get sucked off into the black hole here, back to the abyss of God knows where it leads to. But he's going to be taking a little bit of damage there in the backside. So Spear's going to be throwing, you know, the cheap, cheerful chaff is just going to be thrown into the meat grinder here, so the Lord Choice can get away. What is this going to be here? This is going to be Fascination. That's going to be doing damage and rampaging here on the Minotaurs. Oh, look at this! We're also going to be getting the Raging Body, which is going to force the Lord Choice to fight here up against Skarbrand. 1.5k, 1 hit, 1 kill. That is going to be army losses. GG's and well played to Captain Morgan and Khorne. What a fantastic game here between both of these players. Both factions are just so much speed, mass, and then just clash. There's just brilliant amounts of weapon strength, DPS coming from both sides. Of course, the mobility side here coming from Slaanesh, and a little bit more tanky on the side here of Khorne, but both sides can do very, very well indeed. So 350 there for the Flesh Hounds, with 330 for the second unit. 650 for Uhtred, who also came in there with a beautiful summon. He got in the pocket and started disrupting a lot of the Demonette units. So 670, 670 with 900 and 204. Just very good staples with halberds. They have good armor piercing. They also have that bonus as large, which means you can challenge pretty much up against the majority of all large demons that can come from Slaanesh. So they'll fight well here up against the Fiends of Slaanesh. They'll fight well up against Hellflies, any sort of cavalry. We normally do bring mass cavalry here from the side of Slaanesh, and then any large kind of lords and heroes, we can really drag them down with halberds. So very, very good choice indeed. 1,380 and 990 there for the Minotaurs of Khorne. The great weapons yet again with that bonus as large and armor piercing. Great choices with 4,100 for Skarbrand. He really brought the battle axes to the battlefield and performed very, very well. Skarbrand is a scary man, and we definitely saw him got to, I think it was up to a peak of 1.6k weapon strength. With those Bellows of Endless Furies, really getting up the kill counter and therefore increasing that weapon strength. The Wrathful Reaper coming on top, and he too hit the cultist, and then the Slaanesh, he finished off with one mighty blow, and that was devastating there in the leadership for Slaanesh. But 1,700 there for the caster, very, very strong considering she was on foot. The Locust of Grace, take it or leave it. I think against Khorne is probably one of the few demon factions you can get away with, as a lot of their infantry with the Minotaurs and the Warriors of Khorne don't have magic damage, so actually having that physical resistance and melee defense is quite strong. 690 for the Fiends of Slaanesh, only 150 for the Hellflies. Kind of unfortunately, they kind of suck at the moment. Not a big fan of any of their chariots. They're just not too good. I think the single entities on top of their big ones are quite nice. I quite like those. They also come with a perfect figure, so it can be pretty decent there throughout the entirety of the battle. But I'd say just regular Hellflies just don't do it for me. 1,100 as well as 960 for the Seekers. Always perform incredibly well. Seekers, and then also the anti-large cavalry as well, with the poison does quite nicely. So we're going to see 860, 240 there, a little bit of quite a bit of a difference there between these two. We are going to see 390 for the Chaos Furies of Slaanesh, with 550 from the Marauder Spears, and 400 as well. 730, 350, 250, and then we're going to see 190 with 150. So the Marauders can do quite nicely. You can see there 730 coming in. They do have some good bonuses infantry. They can challenge. They really lack armor piercing to deal with the Warriors of Khorne. But if you come with just mass numbers, you should be able to drag them down with just cheap, cheerful chaff. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below with all your thoughts and opinions. And if you haven't already, do feel free to subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Now, if you haven't already, do feel free to check out that description where you can see all my other social media platforms, including that Twitch, which I try and stream on a weekly, if not soon, a daily basis when I've got all my exams out of the way. And then also you can find that Discord where you can come and interact with me, come join me there, and hopefully come see me in VC. But other than that, I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.